the morning of March 12, 2023 in Brooksville, Florida, the air was calm and the streets were slowly waking up. A canal flowed quietly nearby, reflecting the soft light of dawn. As people stepped out for their morning walks, they'd noticed something strange near the canal, two objects burning fiercely. At first, they couldn't believe their eyes, but as they got closer, a terrible fear crept into their hearts. The shapes of the burning objects looked too much like human bodies. Panic set in, but without wasting a second, some of them rushed to the canal, scooped up water, and threw it onto the flames. The fire hissed and died down, revealing a horrifying truth. Their worst fear had come true. These were indeed human corpses, deliberately set on fire. The news spread like wildfire. Someone quickly called the police, and within moments, officers arrived at the scene. They carefully examined the remains and confirmed that there were two dead bodies. But there was another chilling clue. Near one of the bodies, they found strands of gray-colored hair. This small detail led them to believe that one of the victims might have been a young woman. The police took both bodies and sent them to the hospital for a detailed checkup. At the same time, the forensic team arrived at the scene, carefully picking up small clues to uncover the truth behind this terrible crime. After that, the police started searching around the nearby areas. Not far from the spot, they found a deep hole in the ground. This confirmed their worst suspicion. The two people had been murdered. It looked like the killer first planned to hide their bodies in the hole, but for some reason changed the plan and instead burned them before fleeing the scene. Now the biggest questions remained. Who were these two people, and why were they killed in such a cruel way? Believe me, this case will shock you, but just when the police think they are close to solving it, something unexpected happens. After the killer admits the truth, they find a diary full of secrets. This diary is full of twists and turns, making the case even more shocking. The police start their investigation by checking with all the nearby police stations to find out if anyone had reported a missing person, or if any similar cases had been reported. But despite their efforts, they find no useful clues. Since the bodies were found on March the 12th in 2023, the police decide to ask the public for help. On March 14th and 15th, 2023, they share an update on their official Facebook page. When the forensic report finally arrives, it confirms that both victims were women. One was a 22-year-old girl, while the other was a woman between 38 and 40 years old. After posting the news about the two women's bodies being found near the Brooksville Canal, the police urged the public to come forward with any information that could help solve the case. On March 15th, the police shared this update. The very next day, on March 16th, they receive a phone call from a man. He tells them that he had two women as Facebook friends from his area, but they had not been active on social media for some time and were nowhere to be found. He has no idea where they are and suggests that the police should try to look for them. The police quickly contact this man and ask him for more details about the two women and how he knew them. He gives them their Facebook IDs, which helps the police find out who they were. After checking the profiles, they discover that one of the women's accounts was named Rachel Dean, while the other was Rebecca Dean. As they investigate further, they uncover a shocking truth. Rachel and Rebecca were not just connected on social media, they were mother and daughter. Rebecca was the mother, and Rachel was her daughter. It was also found that they lived in the Spring Hill area of Florida. As the news spread, their friends and relatives started coming forward with information. The friends shared details about their neighborhood, which was identified as Brooksville. Following these clues, the police began searching for their home in Brooksville. When they finally found the house, they saw that it was locked. To learn more, the police showed pictures of the victims to the local people and asked if they knew them. Digging deeper, they collected their phone numbers from the residents and also started tracing their family members. This led to an important discovery. Rebecca Dean's in-laws were originally from Houston, Texas. It was discovered that Rebecca had divorced her husband in 2019, but the reason behind their separation remained unknown. After the divorce, instead of going back to her parents' house in Florida, she decided to settle in Brooksville, which was not far from her family's home. At the time of the divorce, her daughter Rachel was in the 8th grade. After moving to Brooksville, Rebecca got her daughter admitted to a nearby school. As the years passed, Rachel finished school and continued her education. Wanting the best for her daughter, Rebecca later enrolled her in a college in Tampa for higher studies. To make things easier for Rachel, Rebecca arranged a rented house for her in Tampa. From that point on, the daughter lived in Tampa, while the mother stayed in Brooksville. Though they were in different places, they remained in touch. The police, while checking the last known locations of the mother and daughter, along with their last phone calls, found one number that caught their attention. It was registered to a man named Michael Carter, and it was frequently linked to Rebecca Dean's phone. When they checked Rachel Dean's call records, they found the same number, proving that both mother and daughter had been in touch with this man. Digging deeper, the police discovered something even more surprising. The call records showed that Rebecca and Rachel had been talking to this number for hours every single day. This raised serious doubts, and the police immediately started searching for Michael Carter. Their investigation took them to a neighborhood in Orlando, where they found his house. But when they asked around, they got unexpected news. Michael was in the hospital. Without wasting any time, the police rushed there and arrested him. Once in custody, they began questioning him. Why did he kill Rebecca and Rachel? Why did he burn their bodies? Michael Carter, however, strongly denied any involvement in the murders. But the police had solid proof. They decided to confront him with his last known location. According to phone records, his last known location on March 11, 2023, was at his house in Orlando. At that same time, Rebecca Dean was also at his home in Orlando, staying with him. Her daughter Rachel was there too until the night of March 12th. All three of them were in the same place. But after that, as their location started to change, as if something had happened. The police also revealed another shocking detail. The last two calls received by both Rebecca and Rachel had come from this very man. The evidence was undeniable. With nowhere to run, Michael Carter broke down. His hands trembled and his voice shook as he finally admitted the truth. He had murdered the mother and daughter. But why? The police pressed him for details. Why did he kill them? What was the reason behind this horrifying crime? As Michael Carter began to speak, a dark and twisted story started to unfold. The relationship between Michael, Rebecca, and Rachel. Michael Carter, 43 years old, was a divorced man living alone in Orlando, Florida. He had met Rebecca Dean, 39, through Facebook in early 2022. Their online friendship quickly turned into a romantic relationship. Rebecca, a single mother, had been struggling financially after her divorce. Michael promised her stability, affection, and a fresh start. She trusted him completely. By mid-2022, Rebecca had moved in with Michael in Orlando, visiting Brooksville only occasionally to check on her house. At first, everything seemed perfect. Michael treated her well, and they enjoyed their time together. But soon, Michael's behavior started to change. He became controlling, obsessive, and jealous. Whenever Rebecca talked to other men, even for work, Michael would accuse her of cheating. He would check her phone, question her whereabouts, and demand that she spend more time with him. Rebecca, feeling suffocated, began distancing herself. By late 2022, she started considering breaking up with Michael. The night of March 11, 2023, the beginning of the end. On March 11th, Rebecca traveled from Brooksville to Orlando to meet Michael, but she didn't come alone. She brought her 22-year-old daughter, Rachel Dean. Rachel, a college student in Tampa, had always been suspicious of her mother's relationship. She didn't like Michael. She had told her mother multiple times to break up with him, but Rebecca never listened. That night, a huge argument broke out. Rachel openly told her mother that Michael was toxic and dangerous. She told Michael to leave Rebecca alone and even threatened to report him to the police if he didn't. Michael snapped. He couldn't stand the thought of Rebecca leaving him. And even worse, he believed Rachel was the reason for it. That night, he made a horrifying decision. March 12, 2023, the murder. Around midnight, while Rebecca and Rachel were asleep in his house, Michael grabbed a metal rod from his garage. He first attacked Rebecca while she was sleeping, striking her head multiple times until she stopped moving. Rachel woke up to the noise and screamed, but before she could react, Michael grabbed her by the neck. A violent struggle followed, but Michael overpowered her and strangled her to death. Within minutes, both mother and daughter were dead. Michael, now realizing what he had done, began panicking. He needed to get rid of the bodies, and fast. The disposal plan. At 3 a.m., Michael put both bodies in the trunk of his car. His first plan was to bury them. He drove 80 miles to a secluded area near the Brooksville Canal and dug a deep hole. But as he was about to bury them, he hesitated. He feared that someone would eventually find the bodies if he buried them, so he changed his plan. Instead of burying them, he decided to burn them to destroy the evidence. At 4:30 a.m., he poured gasoline over the bodies and set them on fire. He waited for a few minutes before driving away, leaving the flames to erase his crime. By the time people discovered the burning bodies later that morning, Michael was already back in Orlando, pretending nothing had happened. How the police caught him. Michael had been careful, but not careful enough. When investigators checked Rebecca and Rachel's last phone locations, they saw that both had been in Michael's house the night they disappeared. The forensic team also found gray-colored hair near the bodies, which matched Michael's DNA. When the police tracked him down, he tried to deny everything, but with the overwhelming evidence, he had no choice but to confess. Michael Carter's fate. After his confession, Michael Carter was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. He was found guilty in court and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Justice was served, but nothing could bring back Rebecca and Rachel Dean. A mother and daughter, whose only crime was trusting the wrong man, had lost their lives in the most tragic and brutal way, and that is the shocking true crime case of Rebecca and Rachel Dean.